There is an old Chinese saying that a society can only exist on the basis that there is some amount of polished lying and that no one says exactly what he thinks. Not only had this statement been true in the ancient Chinese society, but it has also been a key pillar of the William Ruto administration. Ruto's tendency to promise without fulfilling and to blatantly lie eventually reached its peak when a dramatic showdown ensued between Catholic bishops and Mtukufu Rais William Ruto. Now here is how the drama officially began.
The culture of lies is swiftly replacing the integrity and respect that Kenyans deserve. Basically, it seems that truth does not exist, and if it does, it's only what the government says. Unfortunately, it seems that the Kenyans have helplessly tolerated the lies told to them constantly by politicians. Kenyans must learn not to applaud or validate the lies that the politicians tell them, but rather must resolve to seek and be led by the truth. Over taxation of Kenyans, the hiking of the missionary work permits, youth unemployment, regulations of the education system, especially the CBC and university loan scheme, the failure to constitute the IEBC, etc.
And the drama reached its first half when the government immediately realized that this time it was not business as usual. So William Ruto unchained his dogs to countercheck the holy threats that had just challenged his unilateral authority as commander-in-chief. Catholic bishops had released just one statement, and later the government, after feeling the heat, released 15 statements through its ministries and operatives to defend itself from the attacks mounted by the Catholic bishops. The government spokesperson, the Ministry of Education, and the Ministry of Health released statements condemning the church for what they termed as reckless and uncalled for speaking. This, in my opinion, should be a wake-up call to the government, who at times assumes that it can neither be challenged nor reproached by the people. Any legitimate administration should accept constructive criticism. If the statements by the Catholic bishops are truthful, then the government should take the criticism on board and self-correct. If the statements are false, the government should assume them and continue delivering services to the people of Kenya. The numerous and limitless responses from the government concerning the statements from the church amounts to nothing other than scoring one's own goal in football terms. By mounting heavy counter-assault, the government is essentially acknowledging that the bishops are right in their statements. Oscar Kipchumba Sudi, instead of plainly telling the president that he is naked, decided to expose his deficiency of knowledge. Look what he said, and I quote, "It is dumbfounding to see the Archbishop Anthony Muheria preaching the gospel on one hand and fanning tribalism on the other hand. Muheria's lack of moral authority to criticize the current regime because he is akin to double-speaking. The cleric is on record for backing the past regime even when it was clear it had failed Kenyans and must be bold enough to steer away from tribal politics." End of quote. According to Oscar Sudi, Archbishop Muheria ought to remain silent on the evils of the Ruto administration simply because he had not criticized the alleged irregularities of the Uhuru Kenyatta administration. Now, this, in my opinion, is an extremely stupid idea. Every Kenyan has the right to criticize the government at their own convenience. Now, another UDA cow is this guy from Kericho called Aaron Churiot, who insinuates that the Archbishop mounted attacks on Ruto just because the president is not from his tribe. And I quote, "I'm struggling to recall the last time the Catholic bishop issued a scathing personal attack on two former presidents who were incidentally Catholic." End of quote. Now, in my opinion, I think this is shallow thinking because time has changed and we must change by it. It was the Gen Zs who recently brought about a revolution that had never been seen since there was a nation. So even the bishops can no longer remain silent the way they have been in the last 10 years or so. There is a nationwide wake-up call, and majority of Kenyans are no longer ignorant or ethnically inclined as in the past. So here is a video of Alfred Keter disassociating himself from the lies of tumetenga na tumeweka that has been the hallmark of President William Ruto's government.
I was not opposed to William Ruto with UDA or Kenya Kwanza. They are the ones who said Alfred Keter does not belong to UDA and Kenya Kwanza, which at that time I had a problem with it. But now, with their plans, with their programs, with Kutenga and the many lies, I'm not a member of Kenya Kwanza or UDA. And they were right, because I was not going to allow them to do anything that is negative in my own opinion or my view. Because whatever I see as Alfred Keter, when something is wrong, it is wrong.
These are the reasons why I am convinced William Ruto will be a one-term president, especially now that Kenyans and clerics alike are waking up to resist the economic atrocities of the Kenya Kwanza regime. Even still, no amount of criticism, in my opinion, will take President William Ruto out of office. The only way is through the way he came in, that is through the ballot. And by that, I mean voting against him, as did the Americans against Kamala Harris. Ladies and gentlemen, these are just but my opinions. Do let me know what your thoughts and opinions are by leaving a comment in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and also hit the notification bell for more informative content such as this. Cheers.